All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us here this week. Under a week to go to BDSL season. Very excited about that. Um, a lot to discuss this week. A little unfortunate I wasn't able to do one of these to you guys last week. Unfortunately, life sort of got in the way. But glad I was able to reschedule this one here because I was really looking forward to talking to Polonia, and I'm really happy that they were able to join us here. But lots going on. Like I said, the last week here before prep before the season starts, Sunday and Monday kick off the year. So the first preview of the season came out today. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Tomorrow, obviously, I'll hopefully have one up for both divisions in D2. Wednesday D1, Thursday championship, and Friday premiere. So that'll be the kind of schedule for content coming out later this week. And then after the games, Monday is a week from today is probably going to be the next podcast episode. It's kind of going to go to more like a format where we do a review of the week and everything like that. Bring in, teams to kind of go over their games, talk with Brian Randmaker, and much, much more. So a lot to look forward to as we sort of get underway. But in the meantime, I'm excited to welcome in Jordan Mullins from Polonia. Is it officially Polonia Elite, or is it just Polonia? How are we addressing that?
So we call ourselves internally Polonia Elite, so there's no confusion. But I didn't want to sound too arrogant, so we kept it at Polonia for the schedule and all.
Okay, fair enough. So Polonia here, they a longstanding club, good tradition here within the BDSL. This year, they've split off into two separate clubs. There's Polonia and Polonia Legacy now in D1. So Jordan, why don't you tell us maybe first how that came about? You guys kind of got the move up to Premier this year too. So was like the move up kind of what necessitated that, or necessitated that split, or was that sort of in the works even without that?
Yeah, so I'm from the southern tier, east of even Olean, and we're from the middle of nowhere. And I got connected with Polonia probably 4 years ago, after my first year and being in the BDSL. I got recruited by my brother-in-law who got connected with them. We started to grow a team with a bunch of guys from our area, here in Houghton College, some Alfred State kids, and then just some local talent that never really got an opportunity to play really competitive amateur men's soccer. So through that, we started to build a roster that was competitive at the top level, at least in the championship. And we've kind of got to a point where we've got a lot of interest, we've got a lot of talent, but we had to make a decision of kind of where we wanted our program to go. So I had reached out to Aaron, our other manager, and just said, is it a possibility to split and allocate our resources in a way that allows us to be competitive in both divisions? It wasn't like let's throw all the guys away and start fresh. It was how can we best facilitate an opportunity for the most guys to play? And luckily, through my connections, I had quite a few friends who were playing at Beast. I did actually take a few guys from you at Ruse.
Yeah.
But we built a team that I think is going to be really competitive at the premier level. And then we've got a lot of returners pulling up the legacy team that will do a fantastic job. I mean, Chuck Donner's 56 years old and he still runs with 25-year-olds. So yeah, I would say we wanted to provide the best opportunity to be competitive across the league.
So it seems like this would have happened kind of regardless of your guys' promotion up into Premier. So when you guys did get the opportunity to move up, was it like a no-brainer to go for it right away, or did you have some hesitation because you were planning this split and maybe there was some uncertainty on where the roster was going to be? So was it like a little bit of a question on where to go within that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we waited
I think I might have
and the
lost
players that we had, we really couldn't compete at the premier level. Not saying that we didn't have a good team. We just weren't really young. We didn't really have the depth that you need, and ultimately through a couple emails, I had some close friends say, "Yeah, I'm in. Absolutely, I'm in." And we looked at the roster and just said, "Well, if they give us a chance, we'll go for it, and we'll build a strong roster. If they don't, we'll continue like we're doing now, and just add more guys." Because I guess at that point we'd have a championship in a first instead of a premier and first division team.
So now with that premier spot, a lot changes. I would argue, having played in both divisions, I think the jump between premier and championship is one of the most difficult to make and stay with that sort of consistency. So heading into the year, like what kind of focus do you guys have on the season? Is it about survival, or is it about looking to grab one of those few playoff spots at the bottom there? Like, is there a goal set, or is it just you're just in it, so let's see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, we're all competitive, right? Like saying, "Oh yeah, we want to be third from the bottom so that we don't get relegated," it would just be foolish, right? Like if we're gonna compete, we want to be at least in the hunt for something in the end of the season.
Sure.
I think with the amount of college guys that we have, we've got a lot of momentum going into the season. We got 4 Damon guys, we got 4 Houghton guys, and then some other kids from Pennsylvania that are coming through. They're finishing their season this week, so they're in match shape. We've got a lot of guys that play year round, so I think the momentum for us, we intend to be a competitor. At the very least, we intend to be a pain in the side for some of those top teams that usually roll over the new guys.
Um, I think that's interesting when you talk about that. The preparation you guys have had so far. Talk to us about your indoor seasons. I'm sure you guys have been playing in that. I've always noticed Polonia has been one of the teams who was always in the Salins 11v11 league. We talked last week a little bit about the pros and cons of indoor and how that sort of helps and maybe even hurts your team coming into the season a little bit. Where have you guys been preparation wise on the lead up to the year?
Yeah, so this is a unique year where usually you'd have all of your fall athletes, all your fall soccer guys playing some sort of indoor with you, testing it out. We got our quote unquote prospect players to play with us for about 3 weeks, and come February they were all in season. So we use the indoor season really to build the foundation. The veteran guys who are playing on both teams, and we just use that as an opportunity to I don't know, create some camaraderie within the guys that are from the old Polonia team, so that when these college kids come in there, there's organization, there's a level of expectation of what we want to play, and ultimately create some momentum going into the season. I would say that it was a very bad representation of who we actually are going to be as a team, as far as who the players were, because I want to say we had 3 or 4 premier guys on our indoor team, and the rest were legacy guys.
Okay. Is there like a set style of play you guys are hoping to play this year coming into the season, or is it more especially at the premier level, you guys are definitely going to have to adapt as a game by game basis depending on who you're playing. But I know your roster. I'm pretty familiar with it. I think you definitely have the players to sort of implement a play style if that suits you guys during a game too.
Yeah, I think right out of the gate, I think we really do want to push the envelope and get teams pressuring high. We want to increase this pace of the game because I think we have the fitness level right now with a lot of our younger guys, coming off seasons, all playing 80, 90 minutes a game, and also having the depth coming off the bench as well. I think we can create a lot of energy, and ultimately, hopefully, create a little bit of chaos. I mean, again, when you go out and play BSC Raiders, I mean, you have to be ready to defend for 70 minutes a game. It may be that way. Hopefully it's not, but if that's the case, we organize and we move forward from there. But yeah, we want to create a high chaos game while also playing real good soccer.
you guys had a chance to kind of, like you said, rebrand a little bit. Tell me what went into that decision. I know you guys moved away to like some different team colors in that. So I'm interested, why the move away from red? That seemed a little bit odd for me.
Yeah, so the idea was is that I honestly I think we really wanted to rebrand ourselves in the level of soccer we were playing. I know that there's prior beliefs of kind of the style that Polonia plays, and that is like rugged, a little bit unorganized, and ultimately just like smash mouth soccer. With this transition, I really wanted to differentiate this transition. I didn't want people to think this is the old Polonia. This is we're out of our shoes, and so I really wanted to take this team and reset and create, especially for the new guys coming in. Something that was legitimate, something that had I don't know, had just a different feel. And ultimately, I think that's why we decided to go away from the colors of red, because we had the old Polonia logo, we had the old Polonia colors. I think we really wanted to reset and try something new for the new guys coming in.
The cup draw happened. That's always a fun and interesting time. Looking at that, your first round opponent, Williamsville Willies. You guys have thoughts on the cup competition? Some guys take it, and really want to do well in it. Others aren't so sure on maybe what they want to do.
Right.
It might even be kind of a deterrent to your focus, maybe on that. Where do your thoughts lie within the cup this year?
Yeah, so personally, I mean, I started out in the BDSL with Olean, and I mean, we were playing in the Wood Cup at the time, and we made it really far. I think we ended up making it to the finals. Unfortunately, I wasn't even there for that, which sucked. The next 2 years, Polonia made some deep runs, and ultimately, for me, I think it's an opportunity to really prove to people that it's not just an accident, right?
Right.
It keeps basically 2 seasons going. And keeps a focus in the middle of the season when sometimes it's tough to see the end, right? So yeah, I have full intention of taking it as seriously as we can, as we're given the opportunity to play. We want to kind of seize the day.
So looking at the schedule for you guys, you guys haven't maybe faced so many of these teams in Premier in a certain amount of time. I mean, obviously Beast last season and OP Alliance you're going to have familiarity with. Is there any games that kind of jump out to you and stand out as ones you're looking forward to playing coming into the year here?
Yeah, I mean, for us, when we start to try to pick out games, I think we get a little bit overwhelmed. You kind of say, oh well, we can't play with these teams. That's what everybody says. That's what probably the league feeling is about Polonia, is that we're not playing in the level that we should. Ultimately, for us, we're going out there every day to prove something. We're out there to compete, and I mean, as far as what teams are we circling on the calendar, Olean's not in the division, so we don't really have a set team that we got our eyes set on. We're just looking to play the best soccer we can.
Tell me about your origin here with Olean and now moving over to the Polonia side. I mean, that was your first introduction to BDSL soccer. So what was that like experience like, having the opportunity down there in the Southern tier to kind of join and get familiar with the league?
Well, Mike Martell, I mean, he should be commended 100%. I think there was some doubt early on as to how legitimate Olean club soccer was going to be, and he blew it out of the water from the get-go. He ultimately is what made me want to be like completely enveloped in what the BDSL is. He took it seriously. He branded. He got fans. I mean, we had 200 fans a game, which is absurd for a men's league game. Ultimately, they created an environment that was just exciting to play in. And when you're playing in Division II, there were games that it was embarrassing, right? So he found a way to keep it exciting, keep it professional, and ultimately allow us to have a lot of fun. But he ultimately has the same vision that I do, and that is a bunch of small town kids, a bunch of small town people coming together and being able to compete at the highest level in the region.
Well, that's good. I mean, we've had this discussion on the cast before about the inclusion of Olean and like the pros and cons of it. And when I always balance it out, I always think like, giving guys like yourself a chance to kind of get a taste of the league, and exploring beyond that, just with the Olean team itself has seemingly proven that it's paying off in the long run here.
Right.
Um, the other question I wanted to ask you was about like player recruitment. You touched on it a little bit about the guys you're bringing in. Is there anyone you want to single out as maybe like you're really excited to see in Polonia colors this year for the squad? You definitely have some talented guys who have seen the Premier Division before, mixed with a lot of new blood. So anything there you want to touch on in regards to the roster?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of guys that I think are huge additions to our team, and I know how good they are, is Matt Brem and Austin Tom. Really good friends of mine personally. I work with Matt. I tried to get them to go, and I would say that they probably were a little bit apprehensive to join because they didn't know what it was going to be, but kind of got their confirmation, got their trust, and those are two guys that are going to really help us, especially early on as we get our feet wet and really sink our teeth into the game. Another group of guys is our Damon coalition. We've got 3 guys in the roster right now, and then their assistant coach Craig Buchanan, who, if any of you have played against him, he makes the game look so easy, and he looks like he's doing nothing, yet he makes it so hard for the other team to really break you down in the back. He's fantastic, and I'm excited to play with him in the middle, probably more than anything. And then we have a lot of returning guys from Polonia with some veteran experience that I think are just dying to get into the higher level of competition.
So, I mean, we've talked a lot about the year coming up. One thing we haven't talked about so far is like COVID and what that might have done to your guys' roster and plans, both coming into the year and like how it's going to affect you guys during the season. Some guys are going to do it, or teams rather, are going to handle it differently than others. Have you guys really played that into consideration here? Do you think? Obviously every team would say that it would be better off without it, especially in the prep leading up to the year. But has that like really changed your team around at all a lot, or has that played not so much of a big impact?
Well, so we got a lot of college guys, so they've had to be extremely careful. I'm less concerned about the prospect of it infiltrating our team. I say that now, and then 2 weeks into the season we'll be screwed. But no, I think a lot of our guys, not to get into the conversation, but we've had a lot of guys that actually are vaccinated, which helps. It neutralizes it a little bit, and then having a lot of the college guys coming through, we hope to limit the experience or the exposure a little bit. So honestly, we've got a lot of like pods of kids, so if it does get in, we're in trouble. But for the most part, I wouldn't say that we're in a ton of circles. So hopefully we can keep it under wraps.
Now, you've had a couple years now in the league. I'm curious to know your thoughts on the overall setup. I always like to ask guys in the podcast and in the manager interview series if there's like things you'd like to see added, changed, adapted, that kind of stuff. Always looking to improve here for you guys. So I'm just curious, a couple years in now, what are your thoughts? What could the league maybe do better? What does it do well?
Well, I mean, it's criticizing it would be foolish because of how
don't hold back if you want, Jordan. Don't
No,
worry about
I'm
that.
being honest. Coming from an area, my entire childhood and even post college, there are really not a whole lot of opportunities to really play. And coming out of college, you want to play at the highest level that you can. Being exposed to the BDSL is allowed guys like me to really dive back into soccer when I probably would have been done 3 or 4 years before, because there's no competitive soccer around. Ultimately, I love the fact that the BDSL has become a gateway to the community, to expanding to the entire region. Again, Olean is a perfect example of of a diamond in the rough, right? I would say a lot of people have counted them out from the start, and they continue to be good. They will finish at the top of the championship division again, if not make a deep cup run. So I just love the idea that the BDSL is really a showcase for the entire region now. And I would say that we outdo a lot of other cities and leagues. I mean, the RDSL is half of what we are. So ultimately, I have absolutely no bad things to say about the BDSL. I think it's been perfectly a perfect opportunity for the community and others to just get involved and really have something to care about.
Well, that's really good to hear. I am wondering, because I did know that there was a Southern Tier League down in that area, but I guess it's a bit like east of Olean, maybe even more so. Was that like a league you were aware of too
Yeah,
in the lead up here?
so I was actually a part of, like, there
Oh,
were
okay.
4 or 5 guys who kind of got that going and kept that going. I mean, that's a 30-year-old league. I think by the time we got to the end, it became a little bit, I would say, unrefined. We had slim pickings. That was based out of Allegheny County and Steuben County. But ultimately, COVID put us under, right?
Okay.
Like some of the Olean guys ended up playing in it for Cuba, but the soccer became pretty poor, and it ultimately was just too much to try to get officials, right?
Okay.
Like there's only 4 guys in all of Allegheny County.
Is there like a spot that's missing then on maybe the soccer map that BDSL hasn't hit down there, that would be like reasonable in your opinion to?
Yeah, I mean, from a travel perspective, I understand the limitations to
Sure.
moving further and further away, but I mean, in Allegheny County, I mean, we live in an area where there are no opportunities for guys to really showcase. The half of the Olean team is all Allegheny County guys, and I would absolutely love to see an Allegheny County showcase team. We're doing it pseudo through what we're running at Polonia, but I would love to see a full-fledged Allegheny County United team, because I ultimately think that they could compete at the highest level. 2 guys that I know will make a great impact over at Olean are Carl and Caleb Holmes. They're new to the league. I think Caleb actually played, but they'll create waves, and they're born and raised in the town of Allegheny County. So yeah, I would love to see the expansion into this area, but there are some limitations to it from a geographical standpoint.
Sure. But I think it's interesting to note that like the Southern Tier League that was down there, even in its existence, wasn't quite the same as what you're getting over there,
Right.
or here rather.
Right.
But yeah, it's good to have that like reach and find guys who would otherwise be done with their playing career, or who have an opportunity to improve their game through playing through the competition that you do face in the
Yeah.
BDSL. So
100%.
definitely interesting on your opinions there. I do appreciate that. So I think that wraps up everything. I have questions here for you guys at Polonia. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you might want to bring up here before we close it out?
Well, I just want to say to the entire Twitter BDSL community that we appreciate all of the logo submissions. We unfortunately we didn't find one that we loved, so we decided to revise it ourselves. But we want to thank our company out in California for the temporary use of their logo, and then all the fantastic submissions from everybody. They were classy.
I knew I wasn't gonna bring it up,
I know. I know. If you don't,
I did the
it just is
colors.
there.
That's fair. Hey, you take it on the chin, and you look like a champ quite often,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So, yeah, well
If
said
I
there.
had more time, I would have turned all of them into legitimate Polonia logos on a poll, but the season came too quick.
You had a new one each week, maybe even.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, we could have.
Well, good. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me here, Jordan. Really great conversation. That's Polonia Elite now up in Premier Division. I believe you kick off this weekend against Clarence, right? A home date for you guys. I can't
Yep.
remember the time, but
I think it's 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay, good one.
Yep.
Is there any night games for you guys? I think you have one, maybe two. Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah. I think we play most of our games are Sunday, which is awesome. I
Okay.
prefer to keep it that way, but I know we play 4 and 6 almost every week, so it's nice. But
Okay.
funny enough, I think our counterpart Legacy plays in the same right across the field at the Salins Park, so it'll be cool to see both of us in action at the same time.
That is always a consideration for Brian when he does the schedule. I know he tries to keep guys who are sort of linked like that in somewhat similar playing areas, so you can kind of meet up like that. So he always does a good job with that, for
If
sure.
it's going south, we may grab a couple of the guys and bring them over.
There you go. You got the transfer window in June, so no
Yeah,
problem there. All right.
very well.
Well, thanks again for joining me here, Jordan. Like I said, Polonia versus Clarence this week, 6 o'clock. Salins. Good luck in your season opener, and best of luck in Premier for your squad. Thanks again for joining me.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up here for the podcast. Thanks for the notes there. I hope you guys were able to hear Jordan. If not, this will, of course, be posted. Apologies if the audio wasn't perfect. Still not an exact pro on this, so don't quite know why it didn't work if it didn't, but maybe it was just Matt. So thanks again for joining me here. Look for the full interview to be posted sometime tomorrow. We got more previews on the way coming for the other divisions. I have over 35 planning to be mixed in on Wednesday, I believe, too. So a lot of stuff coming before the start of the season. Try and get it all out there for everyone before week one. That's always the goal. Some years are better than others than hitting it. So we'll see, and hopefully I get it all out for you guys. But thanks again for joining me on the second episode here. Really looking forward to more of these as the season goes, and honestly, just really looking forward to the weekend and getting back to the league play. It's been so long, so I know everyone's really excited to get going and looking forward to that just as much as all of you guys. So thanks again for joining me. We'll see you guys on the pitch.